Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Richard Brown. I'm the acting CEO at Gaming Innovation Group. I'm going to talk to you a little bit at the start about Gaming Innovation Group as a whole, and I'll follow that through with a little bit more of a focus on our media services and why we are in the affiliate space from a strategic point of view as well. So to give you a very brief overview of Gaming Innovation Group, the company employs approximately 700 people in various locations. We have offices in Copenhagen, Malta, which is our headquarters, Norway, and Marbella, as well as some other smaller satellite offices in the US and in Gibraltar. We were founded in 2012, the transition from essentially a poker affiliate to what the company now is. Over the last years, we have been listed in the Oslo Stock Exchange from 2015, and then recently, earlier this year, in 2019, we dual listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. We have licenses to operate, and both on an operator basis as well as a B2B platform, and as an affiliate in Malta, UK, New Jersey, Germany with the Schweiz-Holstein license, Spain, and now Romania as well. So to give you an idea about what Gaming Innovation Group actually does, we are an iGaming service provider with solutions across the various elements of the value chain within iGaming. That includes the B2B offering, which is our platform services for casinos, which are running on either a white label model or on a software as a service on their own licenses. We have our own sportsbook that was launched ahead of the World Cup last year, and we have our B2B marketing services, or where we drive affiliation to our partners. We also have a B2C element where we are generating a potential growth story and some pretty successful product launches over the time period, in particular our flagship brand, which is risk.com. This enables us from a strategic position not only to be continually with our finger on the pulse of the operators and therefore develop further and better products within the iGaming B2B portfolio, but also again provides us with a cash positive business into 2019. Having that ability to have an operator business also allows us to offer managed services. Now, I will talk now about where we see our kind of particular sweet spot or where we believe we have an edge. And by having a first-rate operator business, it allows us to provide a turnkey solution for many of the operating partners that we wish to partner with. So where we see ourselves is being able to actually deliver a turnkey experience for transitioning online large offline brands or land-based operators over to the online digital space. Over 80% of the world's gambling is still done offline. There's obviously digital penetration in markets like Scandinavia in particular, but even within Europe, that transition to online is still in its immature or infancy. We believe as the regulation drives throughout the world, that we will have a capacity to transition those land-based operators with a seamless experience, both into their omni-channel solutions, as well as being able to service them as a partner and as a media supplier as well. We've had an accelerated growth period during 2018 that has led into a kind of stable development as we've continually invested into the capacities for being able to achieve our long-term strategic aims in more complex markets. So I will touch now a little bit on what we've done so far in 2019. We've launched an omni-channel sportsbook solution in New Jersey with Hard Rock, our partner in the US. And we now only last week went live with Iowa on over-the-counter. We expect Iowa to go online registrations within the next 18 months or so as the regulatory kind of determines that time frame. We also signed and launched New Zealand's largest online land-based casino to transition them online. They are one of the largest providers in New Zealand, or land-based providers in New Zealand. They also have properties elsewhere in Australasia. We've also been granted affiliate licenses in New Jersey as we start our kind of projects towards offering media services within that location and into the US, as well as in Romania. We've also been granted operating licenses in Spain for our operators, as well as in the process of certifying the platform, which will enable B2B capacity in that market as well. We've recently, as part of a strategic review that's been ongoing for the last 18 months, we divested one of our proprietary brands, highroller.com, to Elmont Gaming, who now then also becomes a B2B platform client. And in order to focus our own efforts in the B2C onto a singular brand, as well as recently closing our game studio, enabling us to focus entirely on that transition from offline to online. So what's next for us? In the B2C segment, we are, again, as I mentioned, as part of that strategic review, focusing on our efforts on much fewer brands than we had done in the past in order to accelerate their growth, as well as to continue to operate and focus that efforts in providing the best product possible. We're also looking at expanding our marketing reach, both into regulated and other immature or less mature markets. For our B2B, we expect an accelerated capacity to onboard and sales into that area. The paid and publishing media services that we do, we expect some growth to come from the kind of diversification that we've done away from the Nordics in the last couple of years over the next 12 to 18 months. We also need to make sure, as everyone is probably aware within the industry, that at the times when there's price pressure coming through from the re-regulation of certain markets, that we continue as a company to focus on the OPEX excellence. And we've obviously seen from a huge growth potential and an investment realization over the last years that we need to, as a company, continue to focus on that. So yeah, I'm speaking now. I want to kind of touch on why we, again, believe that having a media and an affiliate business is very important for our overall strategic offering. We use it in a kind of two-pronged approach. One, because of the margins that actual business unit drives, it enables us and has enabled us both growth, but also a strategic ability to finance the investments into the more complex projects. We also have used it as a strategic footprint in order to accelerate the growth of our own B2C brands as well as our B2B partners as well. We do this, basically we can split it essentially into two areas with our SEO publishing sites, which accounts for about 85% of the total revenues from the media division, and then with our paid services as well, predominantly PPC in regulated markets and social media and display. We've actually taken that and funny packaged it together, and a lot of those land-based clients that we're looking at and trying to pitch to also have a struggle with the idea of digital marketing. They're much more used to being an entertainment-driven, land-based property. So being able to offer that service to them also helps and facilitates their transition online. So it has a strategic purpose for our long-term ambitions as well. It's obviously a hot topic as well with the compliance. In the UK, we saw significant pressure coming on that in 2017 and into 2018. And in order for us to cope with that and also to make sure that what we were doing was correct, is we developed our own software to ensure that the marketing messages we were delivering were compliant not only with the legislation, but also with the advertising standards and the kind of responsible gaming messaging. Once we'd developed that in an initial concept phase, we realized that there's actually a gap in the market and the operators were struggling with very similar things with the diverse and multitude of the different affiliates and channels that they have. So we productized it over the last, over that 12-month period and began selling it to tier one operators at the end of last year, and it's gone pretty well. It's obviously an uptake, and I think obviously as the re-regulation happens in various markets, the importance of making sure that the operators have a control factor over this multitude of channels that they face is very important to them. So just to summarize, for those of you to kind of picture GiG as 3 points or main categories, we have a strong B2B platform that offers both casino and sportsbook products that is positioned to transform offline businesses to online gambling businesses. We have a strong media business that supports that with a healthy cash development and flow, as well as providing a strategic entry point and delivery mechanism for those brands moving online and our own brands. And finally, we have our own B2C operators that enable us to not only be at the forefront of the technological and also product-driven touching points of the consumers, but also allows us a potential growth story and an existing growth story in 2019. Perfect. So with that, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it.